And the wolf could be hungry, you know, and it's because I had to get rid of the dead goat. I killed the goat, you know, the goat was here too long, so I got rid of the goat. Blood everywhere. And the ugliness being described visually is kind of like what I'm speaking now. People call people like me bitches, stupid, you know, horrible and really mean words. And don't recognize what's not only being attempted, but what's what's taking place in front of their eyes and what's going into their ears. It's a human in the world. You know, I'm a human in the world. You know, I don't just walk around, you know, with my Minion tie-dye shirt and, you know, get everyone to start visualizing bananas. And I also don't go around telling everybody about my dissertation for college called Psychological Cognition and my thesis called Playtime. There's no motivation or inspiration. The mind starts, you know, trying to, you know, make sure the emotions don't get too distracting because the person just gets bored. The person just says, you know, I don't know, man, you know, like, dude. And the mind just gets, you know, the brain just gets kind of, you know, and then you gotta, you know, regroup. Or I gotta regroup, you know, it's like my eye itching. You know, okay, it's back to less ugly. And, you know, there's music, so there's comedy, and you could do music too. But, you know, specifically for this video series, it's comedy. And the chemicals can go and then go and go, and, you know, people can just have their mind, you know, visualize, 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 visualize until they start to hallucinate. Start to see, you know, little dots and little shapes, you know, just consciousness from their mind and brain as a break from the world consciousness, you know, the conscious awareness in the world, the attention in the world, seeing, hearing, being. And those aren't like, you know, horrible, unimportant choices and decisions, you know, like in Tibetan Buddhism, visualization can very much assist with meditation and really being relaxed and calm. But I don't get as much of a mind break because that does take some work, I think, you know, with the mind. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. There could be 300 videos on this channel that are totally inaccurate. But they're worth giving to a university to achieve my goal, to reach my goal. And then the goal doesn't get, you know, achieved, but I have the success of trying. A lot of work with the mind. And with comedy, you take a break from the mind because, like, well, you can't just, like, be careful what you're saying, how you're saying it. You can't be too careful with your hands, with your body, or else eventually you just gotta fall down to be funny. You can't do anything, you just fall down. You can't do anything, you just stand still like you're frozen in time. But part of the mind break and giving it some rest has to do with the eyes closing. The mind's not working to think harder and get more thought and be funnier. The mind is letting go to let the brain say a word, make a face, or maybe that's like the heart. Maybe the heart just said that and the heart went, but a little racist. And that's where stand-up comedy gets to be so obnoxious. Like, man, you say anything now, you start doing this and they're like, are you making fun of, you know, and are you making fun of voices with this voice now? And it's like, am I making fun of a Native American? You start to, you know, whisper, I think, because it's like, well, you can't say, you know, you gotta be careful with your voices. So this voice just starts to be this voice. And then this voice is still too obnoxious, so you gotta say it like this. And then the mouth becomes the comedy because your mouth doesn't even know how to speak like people want you to when you're making a joke about dialect, language, speech, and the freaking ridiculousness involved in the actual behavior, let alone the sound. Talk like a redneck, you can talk like, you know, like this, like you're from the movie Forrest Gump. And then you can be just as racist as this right now, you know, and just say like, I'm looking in the camera now. And I just had an emotion. The freedom with the mind and the stretching and the expanding and even reaching points of racism with your dialect and your language are not evil, mean, and disgusting. They are learning about what is being joked about. But there are also other instances that are a little racist, like you're just gonna, you know, not racist specifically, but, you know, like when the Saturday Night Live comedian, you know, had, you know, the behavior like I'm doing now, like, you know, making fun of a United States Navy SEAL veteran. Disrespectful. You know, because those are kind of those aren't like, you know, making fun of the Pope. Like you're gonna hurt the Pope's feelings, but there's no life or death involved. Like the Pope's not risking his life to give a Bible verse on his balcony. The priest you make fun of doesn't go on the you know, stage to give a teaching, you know, with fear and, you know, nervousness for their safety. With the exception of mass shootings in synagogues and stuff where they have actual security now to say, like, you know, like, we are not here to hurt. We are here to, you know, practice faith, belief. Whereas the Navy SEAL, you know, as the other example, you get into like people fighting for the freedom to make comedy in the world, you know, because a person can think all they want. But that's kind of like why these videos are so special, because they let some of that thinking and thought out into the world. And then a person doesn't have to sit silent like me every day, every night, every second, every minute for someone's anger at me burping, from their frustration with my voice in the world. The video on YouTube goes out into the world. The comedy gets maybe, you know, denied and, you know, left out. Not funny, not accurate, totally dumb, you know. Someone maybe threatens to kill me because I have been declared a racist, white nationalist. The people then, you know, the human, whoever, then have to be the wolf and hunt. Have to go and get from what they saw on a video. But when the social interaction happens in the world, you know, stuff happens like me getting assaulted twice. People threatening they're gonna kill me next time they see me. My emotions are not making any sense. And then the people go about what they're doing without really like saying much more than, you're ugly. Dismissal. Taking a person down. When a person's up in their brain and mind, trying to interact and, you know, communicate and, you know, just be a part of the world consciously, thinking, feeling, being, saying, listening. Hard to explain the difficulty with not, you know, going as far as, you know, where my fingers are with how much I say, how much I do, how much I give to the world.